So in the reform called competitive roads, where we have competitive governments for transportation, how much control will be at the monopolized sector board? Well, a monopolized sector board is made up of representatives of all the competitive governments that deal with roads or transportation. So everybody, every citizen, every business has to belong to a road or transportation sector board. CRA, a competitive governments for transportation. And then those governments will send up representatives to a sector board level to do a monopolized government. So how much money, how much power is going to go up to the monopolized sector board for roads? Not too much. Some, but mostly it's going to be a mandatory cooperation. You have to cooperate with intersections. Let's say you have to have the same type of signs. Somebody cannot use different type of signs for different roads. They have to be consistent. There's a lot of things about roads that are going to be required. Beautification, how sturdy the roads are, how fast you get a road back up after a storm, and the like. So there'll be certain requirements to be a competitive road. You have to meet a certain threshold, and a lot of that's going to be in the rating system. They're going to put rating floors on a lot of areas. How beautiful your roads are with vegetation on the sides, bushes, trees, whatever, and not letting it get down to a low standard. So that's going to keep the standards up a little bit. Then most people are going to want beautified roads, so they're going to join road corporations, where all of them have to be publicly traded corporations, where any American citizen can own stocks. So if you own stocks in the roads that you own most, then you get to vote on the board of directors and the CEO of that road corporation. So, and I have systems in place with these reforms that your investments, if they own a certain road corporation or any corporation out there, you're going to have an ability to turn that proxy over to people that you agree with on how corporations should run. So if they're gouging their customers and doing too higher prices, you get to vote them out and buy more stocks than that. So if the roads that you use most, you get to own parts of it. Other people get to own parts of it, but there's always competition in roads as well. There's more than one way to get to any road, and so tolls are going to be held down for that reason. So how much control would be a monopolized sector board? I don't know exactly. To get a control up there, first of all, somebody's going to have to convince a court that there's a negative externality. The rating systems can do that. The rating system for roads can do that, and then you have to convince a court that this done. It's a negative externality. The rating system has to do rating floors to try to accomplish that goal, making sure there's no negative externalities. So you have to say there's good cooperation, beautification, all these things that are the normal things that could go wrong and be negative externalities. You can have rating floors. So that will address 90% of it. But there might be a few things that's going to go to the sector board level, and it's going to take a 70% majority or 70% vote of the representatives of the people to have a monopolized regulation over all the different road corporations, and that might happen on occasion. I don't think much, and then that still has to be governed through the competitive governments. So regulation is put out there, then all the competitive governments have to do it if it's done properly. So how much control? Not a lot, but mandated a lot of cooperation through the rating system, the rating floors, and the like. And all the competitive governments might say, because we have to do so much cooperation, we're gonna have a little bit more robust a more robust monopolized sector board than we actually need, and then have a lot more decisions go through there. Obviously, we want one set of signs, and not everybody having different type of signs. We want red for the stop signs and the green for the red lights. I mean the green lights at the lights that turn. We want all that to be highly consistent. We want the stop signs to look the same. We want very much standardized on a lot of stuff. So we're not getting accidents and stuff. Anyway, a lot more to see at Haley2024.org. Keep on looking around. I got a lot more videos out there on this subject and a lot of writing. Until the next videos.